Hello, everyone. Welcome to a rather strange but actually requested series that we're going to be doing for a little bit. Over the next 4 or 5 days, I want to say, we're going to be making a Pathfinder 2nd Edition character. Now, I'm going to emphasize this right now by saying, first off, as you can plainly see, I'm on my phone. I don't have a webcam. I don't have any fancy creation. Welcome to No Effort November. Also, as I'm talking, my character sheet is actually right there. So we're going to be flipped back and forth between me and the character sheet as we go. Now, the reason why we're doing this over a few days is because I want to make things as simple as possible. And if we do it over a few days, we don't have a potentially 45-minute long video that we're doing. So, that's the first thing. Second thing, we are making a character assuming that you already know how to play Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. So I'm not going to get into explaining what saving throws are, what the 6 ability scores are, that kind of stuff. You should already know that if you're watching this video and you've played D&D. Also, if I specifically say Pathfinder or Dungeons & Dragons, I'm referring to the current edition of both games. So we're talking Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and we're talking D&D 5th Edition. If I mention either game, I'm mentioning the most common, or not the most common, but the most recent release. So, let's get on with the show. Now, of course, like any Dungeons & Dragons-esque RPG, the most important thing at the start is your ability scores. So, here are the 6 ability scores. Everybody's familiar with them who've played D&D. Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. They do the exact same thing in here as they do in every previous edition of D&D and Pathfinder 1st Edition. The creation, or the way you generate the stats, though, is slightly differently in Pathfinder 2E. Then pretty much any game or any edition of the game, D&D or otherwise, that we've had in the past. Because this is the way it works. Your ancestry, otherwise known as your race, your background, and your class will actually determine most of your stats. Or at least how they are mostly generated. Which is kind of interesting. So, for this, we're going to make my favorite race, or my favorite ancestry, an elf, and we're going to make a fighter because we're going to do things simple for today. So we actually don't even need the second page of this character sheet because we're not making a spellcast. Okay, so the way it works is each of the abilities start at 10. Your ancestry, your background, and your class will determine most of your ability increases, known in Pathfinder 2E as ability boosts. So, we're starting off with the ancestry, and I've already said we're making an elf. So, we go to the core rulebook, and we see that I completely skipped the elf page in the book. Elves get an ability boost in dexterity, an ability boost in intelligence, and a free ability boost. So we're going to put a little plus in dexterity, intelligence, and they get an ability flaw, which is a minus in constitution. So I'm trying to do this I'm trying to do this while looking at my phone. So, since we're making a fighter, we can make a melee or ranged. The free ability boost, by the way, can be in any score that you already do not have a boost in. You can even counteract the flaw if you want. But we're actually going to put the ability boost in charisma. So your scores should now, your boxes should look like this. So that is the A part of ABC. Now let's go to the B, the background. Now I thought it'd be kind of cool to have my character's background be their parents wanted them to join, a wizard school, but they were very, 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 very bad at magic. So they didn't make it. But they still have all that learning that they got from the school, just without the magic ability. So I'm actually going to be making their background the scholar. The scholar background gives them a boost in either intelligence or wisdom and a freebie. So I'm going to make the ability boost. I'm going to make the required one to be intelligence. I'm going to make the secondary one dexterity again. So now your ability should look like this. Now we have 2 boosts in dexterity, 2 boosts in intelligence, 1 in charisma, and a flaw in constitution. That takes care of the B. Now we go to the C, the class. We are going to be a fighter. So the fighter gets an ability boost in either strength or dexterity. While our character is going to be a fighter, we're going to be more of a finesse fighter, using rapiers and short swords and other kinds of weapons that use agility more than sheer brute force. So for that, we will get an additional boost in dexterity. And finally, after you've done the ability boosts and flaws for your ancestry, background, and class, you get 4 freebies that can be put anywhere as long as you do not double up. So you can only put them 1 per. You can only do like 1 in strength, 1 in dexterity, 1 in wisdom, 1 in charisma, etc., etc., etc. And actually, that's what we're going to do. We're going to put 1 in strength, 1 in dexterity, 1 in wisdom, and 1 in charisma. We're going to keep constitution at a flaw, which sounds terrible right now, but bear with me, that we're only getting started. So now, your abilities should look somewhat like this. We have 1 ability boost in strength. We have 4 ability boosts in dexterity. We have a flaw in constitution. We have 2 boosts in intelligence, 1 in wisdom, and 2 in charisma. By the time you're done, if you're not playing a human, you should have 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 ability boosts. So we got 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, we've got... Oh, wait, no. Yeah, we got it right. We've got 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now we convert them into the actual ability scores. For each boost, the score goes up by 2. For each flaw, the score goes down by 2. And then, as per how it's been for Dungeons & Dragons and Pathfinder since D&D 3.5, if you have an ability score of 10, your modifier is +0, 12 is +1, etc., etc., etc. So, at the end of the first part of this, you should have ability score just like this. 12 strength, 18 dexterity, 8 constitution, 14 intelligence, 12 wisdom, 14 charisma, and there's your ability modifiers, which anybody who's played any D20 compatible system in the last 20 years knows how they work. And also we've got the ancestry, background, and class right here. So that's it for part 1 of the character creation process. We're going to go a little more in depth with the next part, where we are actually going to pick our heritage, which you saw. And then we're going to fill in everything that the ancestry, the heritage, and the class, the ancestry, the heritage, the background, and the class give you. Until next time, take care, y'all. Peace.